Welcome, everyone. Someone needs to teach Zoom how to actually do a chat box. It's way too much space they take up between names. Hey, Brandon, Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. Everyone here is doing great. Thank you for asking. Afternoon, Kevin. Oscar, hello, how are you? All right, and everybody else? A lot of brand new names in here, a lot of names that are newer. Amy, just checking to make sure you got the text message I had sent to you. A lot of stuff going on here today, guys. It has been a crazy couple of days. Market reacting a little bit today, which we'll talk about, of where it's going and what it's doing, but we'll get a little bit into the Santa Claus rally type stuff as well. Sarah, I wanted to thank you. Oh, yeah, you're welcome, Sarah. I want to thank you for answering my questions on Apple. It was very helpful, and that was in Power Option Plays. Good. I'm glad it was. Glad it helped. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you as well, Oscar. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, for those of you that are brand new, again, welcome here to this joyous occasion and holiday season, right? Whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever holiday you might celebrate, the time of the year is here, right? So I think everybody gets a little bit softer, a little bit more fun, right? So let's see what we've got here. There's actually a mistake on this page. I'd fixed it in Covered Call Explorer, but I did not fix it here. This is mastering the trade. And that is going off on, I believe it's the 5th of January. Give me a second. Let me just confirm that. So you guys have the correct dates. It is. It's January 5th at 8 p.m. is the time. Notice there's no end time to it. That's because we go as long as we have to on that. And mastering the trade is for those of you that are in Power Option Plays. It gives you an opportunity to have a live instructor in front of you one time every 6 weeks or so. And we had to push it out a little bit because of holidays, but to ask questions about the trades that we've been doing. For those of you that have been following along with us, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I can pop them up, but we're getting close to hitting that $1,600,000 in our practice account this year. And every one of them on trades that we called out. So I'm excited. Cody said, I'm brand new and fresh from Toronto. Happy holidays. Oh, Cody, excellent. Welcome. We've got people from all over the world here. So great to see. Cody, I've got family all over Canada. My last name is really not Roy, at least, well, it is here legally, but my family is French Canadian, my dad's side. So the last name was really Roy, R-O-I. For those of you that know about that, basically what happened is the King of Canada said you can't have a name that meant King, which is what Roy, R-O-I, Roy meant. So the family had to change it. They were forced to change it to R-O-Y. All my family that's still in Canada changed it back. The family that came to the U.S. like, yeah, we don't care. Whatever, it's a name. We're not changing it over. So you got Mastering the Trade on the 5th. You've got Trading You on the 7th, Monster Market Movers on the 19th, and Inner Circle on the 21st. Free trainings, you got Power Hour. We are going to run Power Hour this week and next week, today and next week. So it will be going next week for sure. Mastermind group is both weeks, this weekend, next week, we will be running them. Covered Call Explorer is on schedule for regular updates. Power Option Plays regular updates. E-mini Think Tank will not be held on Thursday either day, which is Christmas Eve. It's holiday, folks. We're not doing it on that day. My team is basically off, right? The staff is closed. We're skeleton only for answering questions on emergencies. Excuse me, Brandon will be doing his thing, but that'll be the only thing that is not on its regularly scheduled program is we're doing e-minis. All right, here's the follow us page. So in case you are not, please do. We talked this morning. I had a little meeting with the team and we talked about some things we're going to do differently on social media. I'm excited about the new direction, but make sure you're following along with us with all the various things that we do on social. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look-see at the market. Well, let me ask before we even get into this, how are you guys doing? Tell me, how are trades going today? Did you have anything go off that you want to talk about? Any trades that you put in that you thought were good trades? Let me know. Put it down in the comments below. Funded practice, I don't care, and I really don't care whether you did it funded or practice, because as far as I'm concerned, if you're doing it as a non-funded trade, you're doing it. That's the most important thing to me, is are you doing it, right? So Tony said that there's a YM trade that he did was up a couple $100. There you go. Excellent. Good. And those of you that are futures traders, while you're, there we go. Trader Will said COF, I'm up $175. Excellent. Good. For those of you that are trading futures or are looking for a way to trade where you really don't have a lot of work to do, well, let me just share it with you, right? This spreadsheet right here was Brandon you started this last week, guys. We put a brand new tool out there called Wealth with Spreads. And this was his P&L sheet from last week on the various trades that he did. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trades that closed. These two right here are both pending, right? They're pending trades. Let me do it this way. Okay. They're pending trades right here. Okay. That he's, got working now. But what closed out from last week with these 8 trades, 7 winners, 1 loser. So when you look at the P&L, right, the very top line didn't take off. It hit the target before the entry is what Brandon typed up in here, right? But when you look, oh, Rob, really $42, is it worth my time? $78, is it worth my time? Oh, sure. And then the next one, we lost $237.50. Understandable. But guys, then what happened? $437.50, $200, $225. This was a break even, $312.50. So are these home run trades? No, but this is one contract. Realize that this is one contract. Okay. So when you're looking here, when you look at it, this was the most important one to me. When I asked Brandon for this, I said, you need to tell me what the margin is. He said, Rob, it's already on the sheet I'm going to send you. So look, it's in green and red. $99, $21, $21. These are a little bit higher, $1,200, but nowhere near what you need if you're trying to just trade the YM straight or the ES straight out, right? And actually, he's got a little totals over here. 7 winners, 1 loser, right? 2 no entries. That made up for 20% of the trades, the setups, right? Average win was 185. Average loss was 237.5. 87.5% win ratio for the month of December, which was really only 1 week, $1,057.50 with the average rate of return 43.94, right? Pretty darn good, guys. 43% rate of return per trade on your money, right? So this is Wealth with Spreads. Guys, you just paid for your entire first quarter with the trades from last week. Right, just as an FYI. Good. So Trader Will said the gaps are going well. Excellent. Okay. Nice. So John said Covered Call Explorer. He took one of the trades from there, which was Riot. Wendy said watching Mr. Softy, Microsoft Rise. Good for my calls expiring this week. Very nice. Kevin said it all adds up in the end. It's the accumulation of wealth that counts. That's exactly right, Kevin. You are 100% spot on with that. It's all about the accumulation of, right? It's not hitting a home run. Home runs are nice. Home runs are nice, but I'm okay with getting on base a lot of times, right? I've told a story for years, true story, about my parents were divorced when I was, 11 years old. So we went with Dad on Sundays, and one of the winter favorites was bowling. That was pretty good. I was about 16 years old at this time, and I throw the ball, and I got a 16-pound ball, and I throw it like a rocket down the lane, right? And it's just, there's no pin actions. It just pushes everything straight back. I'm throwing it so hard. My dad said, "What are you trying to do?" I said, "Now I'm 16, remember, right?" So I'm like, "Well, duh, I'm trying to get a strike." And he goes, "Well, I don't ever want you to try to get a strike again." I'm like, "Oh, well, okay, Dad. What do you want me to do?" He said, "I want you to pick up a 9. All right. So why do you want me to pick up a 9, Dad? He said, "If you get a 9 and you leave one of the 2 corner pins, can you get the spare?" I said, 9 out of 10 times I'll pick up that spare. He said, "Great. If you do a 9 spare," he said, "you're a 190 bowler." He said, "What's your average?" 150. He goes, "Good. So stop doing it your way. Try to do it my way. Don't try to hit a home run. Don't try to get a strike. Every once in a while, you're going to screw up and get a strike, even though I told you not to get a strike." He said, "Right now, get on base a lot, right? Get as many pins down as you can and pick up the rest later." It's no different when you use baseball or you use bowling or any other analogy you want to come up with. Don't try to go all the way on the first trade, on every trade. It's not about hitting home runs. I look for 7 to 8 maybe 9 home runs in a year. That's it. Everything else is getting on base, getting on base, getting on base, making a little bit, costing a little bit, breaking even, right? That's really the goal behind it. So Lonnie said, hard to trade spreads with TOS, funding Trade Pro today. There you go. I mean, Trade Pro is the way to go, guys. It really is. Trade us, and we do not have a financial relationship with them, by the way. Zero. We do not get paid anything if you open an account, trade with them, nothing, right? But there are discounts that you get. For those of you that know this, and that's why you need to register through the link that's on Wealth Builders. If you do, Trey knows you came from us, and you need to tell him anyway. But he will give you back, I think it's 20% of your commission, of his commission. Now remember, that's not the fee that the exchange charges, the part that he makes. 20% of that, he will refund you back for every penny you've ever spent with Wealth Builders. So well worth it for you. Jim said, SPY took a put trade in the morning, wrote it down until it started to turn back up, had a nice profit. There you go. Good. So, I mean, I love seeing that you guys are doing it. You're placing the trades. You're making some money. It's phenomenal, right? Phenomenal. So let's start off with the S&P 500. And I'm going to take us first over to SPX, right? I'm mixing up the symbology between here and TradeStation again. So we had a really big gap down this morning. We're about now we're delayed here, but we're about where we closed or where we opened up. We closed about where we opened up for the day so far, right? So we're down a little bit. Excuse me, we're in a bullish neutral bias. We're above the 21, below the 8. We were in a bullish bias. We reached all-time highs, closing and swing high between Thursday and Friday. And today we had the gap down. Why? Fear of the virus getting worse, right? Gee, did people just open their freaking eyes up, or are they realizing that it's getting worse with the numbers of people in hospitals and so forth, right? The governor here in New York, for those of you who don't know what here is, threatening regularly to shut us down again if we don't comply, right? Don't have your small gatherings. Don't get together with your families. Don't. And I'm not saying good, bad, or indifferent. I can tell you one of the hospitals that are out here, my daughter works in, and although they have seen some increase in numbers, it's nowhere near as bad as it had been. New York got pummeled last year, so maybe that, last time around, maybe that's the reason why where everybody else did not get hit as bad. But we are seeing some concerns, and then just sheer stupidity by hospitals and governments, and take Stanford Hospital, right, in California, who got 1,300 doses of the vaccine for their staff, and only 7 people that interact with COVID patients regularly were on the list to get it first. Makes absolutely no sense, right? Yeah, and he's waiting to go to a Bills game. Exactly, PK. New strain in the UK certainly not helping everything. Yep, and I'm on a text message alert from Nassau County, which is the county that I live in New York. And we got a message this morning from the county executive urging residents who have traveled to the UK to strictly follow New York quarantine protocols. It's just, whether you believe it or not, it's real or not, you're not afraid of it or not, there's definite concerns and fears out there in the market, which is all I care about right now, is what the market is thinking, right? So the key number right now is that 3646 level right here, that fib line, which is also where our 8 moving average is, slightly above it, but we need to stay above that 3646 level. If not, we drop into neutral bias and the market starts to go into a tizzy. Now, in general, you will see that in the last 45 years, I think it was 34 or 35 times, the last 5 days of the year and the first 2 days of next year, hence the Santa Claus rally, have been bullish markets. And we've had a 1.4% increase or something over that 7-day period of time. That's really going to be predicated on us staying above that 3646 level. We start to drop down below and you're going to have some fear stepping in, and the fear is going to step in where people start to say, should I take profits? I did it last week. I took profits on certain positions, paper trades, of course, right? We're not legally allowed to talk about funded trades. Those that do and are not showing their funded, and not analyzed, that's not the word I'm looking for, but they're not showing everything they're doing in their brokerage statement is a problem legally, right? And even if you are showing it legally, it's a problem. I know what I'm talking about. I went through an SEC investigation with another company that I was with, and I was regularly involved in those conversations with the attorneys. So not a fun place to be. But when you look at here, the one I was talking about was American Airlines, AAL, right? I talked about these are COVID recovery stocks, right? And, I didn't get out at the top by any stretch of the imagination. I was out more around here, around this price point. I had some covered calls on it, made great premium. We bought it from Covered Call Explorer back here somewhere. We had a great rise, moving average crosses, all that good stuff. We had a great rise in the price. Wrote covered calls for a couple of weeks and was able to close out with still a very nice premium on it. So, there's stocks like this that are COVID recovery stocks. Delta Airlines, right, is another one. I was very big on airline stocks, not right now, right? Not a big fan of them today. Right now, we're getting bigger numbers, but the news is out. It's not all of a sudden someone goes, oh, I think we're going to have more people flying. We had 2 days in a row with over 1 million people going through security checks. 2 days in a row. It's the first time it's happened since the restrictions came out for COVID. So that's huge. But the news is out. It's out. And, these stocks, heck, even Kramer thinks they're overvalued. Right? So let's go back to $SPX. Yeah, no worries, Oscar. I want those questions. Oscar said, what makes the 36.46 level so important? Okay. So 36.46, Oscar, we've got a Fibonacci drawn. Let me grab an arrow, get off of that little thingy there. Where are my drawing tools? Annotate. And then it moves them to another screen. They're just so nice to me. Zoom. So what do we have here? So Oscar, we've got this V bottom right here for the bottom or the start of our Fibonacci that we drew. We have a V top in here right now. That 0 line is where the Fibonacci pattern ended. So we ran up to that level. We pulled back to this 236, which has a one-word meaning to it, which is hesitation. Excuse me, hesitation. From there, we made a move up. We came back to the hesitation level. We made a move up. We played with that 0 line, a little move down to the moving average, and boom, we get this gap up above that 0 line, the 36.46 level, right? What's happened then is we retested. This is what's called a 0 line breakout trade. We got to our first target right there, took half of the profits off, and we'll stop back out of the second half of the trade. Came back down, gave you another opportunity, stopped back out on the second half of the trade, okay? That level, Oscar, is critical because it represents support with a confluence of the 21 EMA right now, exponential moving average, 21. I use levels much different than the average person will. I am using Fibonacci numbers as our moving average level. So 8, 21, and 55 are my moving averages, right? So that 36.46 level, Oscar, is where the market's looking right now because of the strength. So Oscar, if you are just a moving average trader and you're looking at that 21 moving average, and if you put the 20 on instead, you will not see that much of a difference, right? But if you're just looking at the moving averages and you look at the, excuse me, and you look at that 21 moving average, you're watching to see, does it hold or does it break? All right. That's kind of the last straw. If it breaks, the moving averages have shifted and we're in a different trade type than bullish. If you're just a Fibonacci trader, you're looking at that 36.46 level because you are focused on that upper level, that 0 level is what it is. Okay. If you are me and you focus on multiple indicators like this, and I look at every indicator set that I use, whether it's moving averages or Fibonacci's and such, they are all key trading levels is what we look at there. Now, you may use a Bollinger Band, you may use RSI, nothing wrong with any of that. You've got to make it work in your system. But if I add RSI to this, just like Brandon does, it's another indicator set that I now look for those 3 things to kind of make the stars align, as it were. All right. So now when the confluence takes place, the 21 moving average, the green line, and the 36.46, it's kind of like an added level of strength inside of there, Oscar, right? So it's almost like if you've ever seen these glass floors. They extend off of a building. It's a platform that's the top floor of the building, and it extends off the building, and it's got a glass floor to it. And you're looking down, and you're like, is this thing strong enough to hold me? Right? It's not a 1/4-inch piece of plexiglass they've got in there. It's a little bit thicker than that, right? It's probably an inch or two thick, or whatever they make it out of. Glass, plexi, whatever it is. Probably plexi. But there's more strength there. There's more beams loaded underneath there than there would be if they just built it on the floor. So there's another level of strength to that 3646 level. Oscar, does that make sense? Yes, thanks for explaining. Absolutely, anytime. That's what this is all about. This training right here is all about giving you the best information I can of what's going on in the market right now, so you can get an understanding of why these things are important and why they work so well. Why we're up almost $1,600,000 for the year in our practice account is based on these things right here, right? All right, so Sarah said on Brandon's system, there's importance at that 3646 level also. No worry. So that's all good. It's all good. All right, so from a daily standpoint of S&P 500, it's good. All right, let's go ahead and clear that off. Let's get back to the mouse. And let's go and look at a bigger picture. We'll look at a weekly chart. All right, weekly is good. We're still above. We do have a nice confluence at the 382, the negative 382 of the 8 and the 3631. So that's fantastic. And then we look at the monthly on the S&P 500, and we're rocking. Life is good. Yes, we've had a little bit of a hiccup there this week, but nothing overall affecting this whatsoever. All right. So big picture, everything is great here. When we look at fear, let's see how fear has reacted today, which is the VIX, VIX. $ VIX is what it is on Trade Navigator. All right. So you can see VIX took a huge jump at one point. All right. We were sitting down. We talked about this yesterday in Power Options plays. We're sitting down at this 2150 level. Right. Whatever it is, about 2145. Right at that level. We were sitting there yesterday. I'm liking it. It's good. Everything is great. And then today, right, that was on Friday. I did the update yesterday. Today we gap up and we ran all the way up to this 31 level, 3090. We went a little higher, but close enough to that, and pulled back. Are we in a bad position right now at 25.5, 2565? Not really. Not really. Is it worse than we were Friday? Yes, of course. But nothing in here says to me, oh my goodness, we're falling apart. Now, I don't like the overreaction that took place in here, right? Actually, one of my spreads that I am in, my diagonals, I decided to wind out of that spread, and there's a huge dollars of bid-ask spread on the options right now. And I'm just dancing with the market maker, trying to get them to adjust, right? After I'm not underwater on it. That's not true. Well, no. I'm actually trying to get out at my opening price and my entry price. If I can, I've made all of the premium on it that we've sold for the last couple of weeks. But it's dancing with the market maker. And some of this fear right now is what's causing it. When we had this gap up and we ran up to here, to that $31 level, you see bid-ask spreads widen. You see options pricing getting more expensive. Puts are getting much more expensive. Calls are getting more expensive as well. Right? It's just a reaction of the calls to the puts will be an automatic, a given in there. So anything to be fearful and start throwing hands up in the air and say the end of the world is coming? No, not at all. Is it something you need to acknowledge and know? Absolutely. You need to know these things are out there. These things happen, right? You've got to take note of it, of what's going on in the marketplace. All right. So remember, the last couple of days of the year into the first 2 days of the year is when we tend to get a rally. Good or bad, right or wrong, it doesn't happen all the time. Nothing is 100%. Anybody that tells you their system works 100% of the time lies. Run, Forrest, run. They're full of it if their system works all the time. If I can get you to accept a minimum of $2 profit for every $1 you're willing to risk. Does anybody know how many trades you need to do to make money? If you go to a 2-to-1 reward risk ratio, how out of 10 trades, how many have to win for you to make money? Some of you are like, oh my God, Rob, really math? We got to do math? Let's see. All right. If you have 10 trades, right? And you have a 2-to-1 reward risk ratio, right? If you win 4 times, that would equal $8. That means you lost 6 times. That would equal $6. You would profit, your P&L would be plus $2 if you won 4 times out of 10. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. If you go to 3, it gets a little bit wiggy, right? 3 gives you $6 of win and $7 of loss. So it doesn't quite work on 3. It's close, but the true win is there. If I can get you to be profitable 4 out of 10 times, you can do this. You can do it. You can do this if I could just get you to see a reward risk ratio. Some of you use a much higher reward risk ratio on your trade setups. It all depends your risk profile. It all depends the trade type you're looking for, the risk you're willing to accept on that trade. That's all it is. That's all it is. But 2-to-1 is my minimum. You should not be looking for anything less than that. 2-to-1 is the minimum that you need to make in your trades. So go and create a little spreadsheet for this and see how it all works out. Do a 1.5-to-1, a 2-to-1, a 3-to-1. Plug some different numbers in, right? And see for your trade types, for your setups, how many you actually need to win at to be profitable. But 2-to-1 is all you really need. You don't. So here's the good news. Do you really want to get in trades that generally have a better chance of a better percentage of going against you than winning? That's the wrong way of saying it. Do you really want to get in a trade where you risk $2 to make $1 regularly? Probably not. Might there be a situation where you would do that? Maybe, but it surely is not going to be your steady diet. Instead, the steady diet should be what? The steady diet should be, I'm getting into the trade, right, with X profit potential, which is greater than my risk potential in the trade. Yeah, so Trader Will says, inside of Trading You, we've got a couple of videos on this. Absolutely. Yep. But remember, Trading You is a master class. It is meant to take someone that is brand new, knows nothing about the market, all the way through someone that's experienced, because there are things inside of there for every single level. But it will build you up to be a great trader if you are following the systems that are in there. But you're right. Well, this is part of what we do in there. All right. So let's flip this down. Excellent. So Karen said, not in Tesla, just curious on this new situation with them in the S&P, a tight squeeze today. You talking about on the chart, or you talking about on the options? What are you talking about, Karen? On the chart. Okay. Yeah. So them being added to the S&P 500 has caused a little bit of havoc, right? A little bit of chaos. I think this is no different, Karen, than when we are in power option plays and we have an earnings came out on a stock, right? So if we take Apple, just to pick one, right? And here was the last earnings date, right? Here's their last earnings, right? You can see right in here, right? They came down on the earnings, and we say, and I quote, we need to let it settle for a couple of days to see what it wants to be, what it wants to do, right? Or one of my favorite ways of saying it is what it wants to be when it grows up, right? So, and then it finally started to recover and got a little bit better. I think it's no different on Tesla right now. I think on Tesla, we need to have, we need to let it settle out and go from there. Let me grab my tracking sheet from over the weekend, which was yesterday. All right, so we have an open trade on Tesla right now, right? We're in Tesla right now. Let me find that. Where is it? So let me get. All right. So anything I need to be no. All right. Doesn't matter. We're open on all of these trades already, so it doesn't matter. So Tesla, we got in at $619. We took 4 contracts, and that was on the 14th of December. My goal in power option plays is 2 to 3 days. 2 to 3 days to see our first exit. We were in 3 days and we took our first exit. Okay. Excuse me. 651 is our first exit. On the 18th was our second exit. That was at 683. We still have 1 contract left because we closed 2 contracts. See right here, note aggressive in yellow, line 15. Exits are 2, 1, and 1. We've already closed 3 of our 4 contracts out. The first one was 2. The second one was 1. We're up 99.84 on that position right now, right? Total. And that's locked in. We have 1 contract left that unless it gaps massively against us, we're going to do extremely well on it. If we sold that 1 contract right now on Tesla, we would be selling it while the stock was at $658. Where are we? Come on. So the Zoom chat keeps popping up in front of me there. $658. So we've given some back from where the high was, but this is our runner. It's our last contract. Overall, we would pick up another, call it 60 to 20, 40, another $3,000, $4,000 on that last contract. So certainly nothing to sneeze at whatsoever. So yes, Karen, absolutely. It's, you know, a little crazy on Tesla, but we've just got to let it settle in a little bit right now. It's all brand new. All of the hedge funds have to buy it. All of the companies that manage, as an example, the ETF type funds, they have to buy it in the right quantities and replace who's there and so forth. So let's see, QS, is that a symbol, Rick? Next gen battery tech, yes, okay, next gen battery technology, only on the market since September and has weekly options. Oh, Tim told you. All right, good. So let's see, QS. Optionable already. So it came out, you could see in some of the pre-trading was here. You know, it came in at about 10 bucks. Opened up about 20-ish months of nothing and then has skyrocketed. Are they getting added to Tesla's mix? Is that what it is? Are they going to be doing Tesla batteries in the Tesla? Is that why they've taken off like this? Or is it just a separate unsure, still researching? Okay. Yeah. So when we look at QS, let's go look at an option chain on QS. Let's bring options up first. Let's see. Come on. There we go. So I got busy with something right before we got started here today. I was going to start off with the Here Comes Santa Claus song since it was about Santa Claus, right? So let's see, but never got a chance to pull it down from YouTube. So QS options expire 3 days. Notice Friday is closed, right? Huge volume on these things today. Where's our OI? OI is not bad. We've got a couple of decent ones, like 69 Delta, almost 1,700 contracts open, 730 by 840. Okay, a little bit higher than I'd like it to be. Certainly in a high implied volatility. On there, we're looking at a theta of 70 cents a day. All right, and a theoretical value of 875. So from a fair value standpoint, it's fine, but it is definitely a bigger spread. The question, I guess, comes down to, will they negotiate on that spread? For looking at here, so let's just let's see. Would you guys want me to walk through this one the way that I would on Covered Call Explorer and look for a candidate? Would that be okay if we did that? Let me do this. Let me close this one down. I don't need that spreadsheet any longer. Just give me 1 for yes, a 2 for no. If you don't want me to do it, just tell me. I won't. And if you don't answer, I'm assuming you don't want me to do it. So, and that's okay. We don't have to. This is about you, what you guys want, not what I want. All right. So let me open up my sheet here. All right, let's go here. Okay. So if we look at this right now, I'm going to leave it off the screen a little bit, only so I can see the columns. That's all it is. It's for no other reason, right? QS, and I don't really need that. Let's see. If we enter it today, right, which is the 21st, 8/21, right? No, 12/21, right? Stock cost right now is 85.37. Right, forget about entry rule for right now. The expiration will be 12/24. Right, strike price that we would be selling, we're looking for about a 40 delta. So we've got a 95 strike. Holy mackerel! Oh, these are going to be expensive options, I think, to buy. So we're looking at the $95 call, and we'll use the mid price of $3.30. Right, 3.3. Got it. Okay. Actually, my bad. I didn't want to do this here. I'm not doing a. Now we don't want to do that. We'll do it again. It needs to go in the diagonal section, not in the covered call. So QS. We'll do it again. 85.59. Expiration 12/24. The short leg, the short strike was the 95 at 360. 95 at 3.6. Nope. This is where 95 belongs. 95 and then 3.6. Okay. Let me move it over a little bit so you can see that 360. Okay. Now again. Sorry, we just got to leave it like this a little bit. It's got to be off the screen a little bit. The expiration date is 12/24. Okay. So we've got 4 days, right, until the expiration. Just wind it up. We've got 4 days till expiration. Okay. So now we need to go look at a long option. And that 12/24 doesn't belong in there. Watch. Now let's go look at the long options. We need to find 120 days. So here we got 150. We're looking for that 65 delta. We've got it right here. That's not bad. Huh. All right, so now we're looking at an expiration of 5/21/21. Right, strike price, looking for that 65 or higher delta with 100 open interest. We've got an $80 strike in there, and our cost for the option is 14.5. Now that's a little bit on the high side as far as bid-ask spread goes. Fair value of the option theoretical is 41.35, right? So we're a little bit higher, but even if you paid the full 15.5, you're higher, but not that much higher. Okay, so I don't know why this column is not filled in. Oh, maybe I just didn't hit enter. Okay, there we go. So we would spend $10.90 on the position. That's what our cost would be, $10.90 to take this trade. We'd be looking at a 24.83% rate of return, assuming we were not exercised. All right, here's the greatest thing about it. Minus 1.14 weeks to break even. What does that mean? Well, minus is a really good thing. Notice it's in green. It's in green. Greens are the best, okay? So what does that mean? We would make $15 on this trade if we were exercised in the first week, not normally what happens on a diagonal spread. So what is that telling us? That says if we had to sell the stock at 95, but had the ability to buy it at 80, we'd get $15. Our cost basis was $10.90 in this column here, J. It's $10.90. We would make $4.10 on this trade for the next 4 days if we were exercised. Please, please take it away. Please take it away. All right. I'll take the $4.10 profit on my $10.90 investment. in 4 days, if you count today as a full day. Right. And John said it would be an interesting naked put. Robert said you're much lower than the theoretical. Yep. There you go. Absolutely. There you go. Guys, listen, the numbers are good. The numbers are good. Right. But you've got to make a decision on the chart too. It can't just be about the numbers. You've got to look at the chart and say, is this one that I really want or not? Right. This is a 5-minute chart. Let's go back to the daily. Right? Good gap up, retracement, nice run. Retracement, nice run, right? So maybe you're waiting for the pullback to the 8, which seems to happen every week and a half or so, right? So maybe the next pullback to the 8 is where you're looking for the entry. ADX is great at 60, DMI plus at 52. Wonderful, right? CCI is kind of in a zone, nothing really happening there. Right, wait for a pullback. Exactly, Robert. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Right. Nice candidate. I'll write them down, Rick, for me. I want to take a look at it, further in depth. But if they're doing batteries for Tesla and that's the reason for the move, yeah, it's a reason to rock on them. All right. Excellent. Hey, give me some symbols you want me to take a look at. Fib on QS. Okay, Rick, I'll do that as everybody's typing in their symbols. We're going to go from this swing low right here, Rick, to this swing high. So you want to pull back that's going to hit at least at 73.61. If it takes 3 or 4 days to get there, the 8 will make its way up right there, and you will have a confluence. And it isn't that interesting. Watch. Fib line, 8 moving average. Fib line, 8 moving average. I just gave you a fib line, and we're looking to see if we're going to have the 8 moving average. You had a confluence, although you didn't know it was there. You had a confluence on this one. We want to see if we can get a confluence here also. Always, always, always be looking forward at what's going on. All right. Hope that was helpful, Rick. Let's see. Trip's asking for Cisco. Fib is still good, Trip, on Cisco that we've got in there. Let's see. Where does the moving average land? All right, as long as the moving average doesn't really move up any, Trip, I'm okay with a bullish trade above that 44 and 67. So somewhere up above there, but that's the level we want moving average below, about 44 and 3/4. Somewhere below there is where we want the moving average to be. And we're at 44.66 right now. So as long as we get that, we're looking at 45.89 as a target, as our first target on Cisco. Baidu. Excuse me, Baidu. Nut and honey, we have no topping pattern to draw off of at all. We've gone from $130 up to $200 with barely the blink of an eye, but we have no V top in there yet to work off of. And even with that, right, we can go back and find some previous fib levels, but we're going so far back and so many iterations back. 200 is right there. We're looking at about 208, Trip, is this fib line right in here is our next target. But we need to pull back first before we can really do anything with it. But it's taken off. And Micron was the last one. Trip said earnings on the 7th. Right? So that's what we show here is the 7th. Are they confirmed, Trip? Yeah, so Trip said they are confirmed. Hey, Steve, I'll check those two out. Glad you're enjoying class. Excellent. Good. So let's see. Right now we are sitting on Micron's Trip. I love where it's at. Look at the 8. Look at the 7202. Right? Let me do this. Let me bring up the symbol grid. Let me go ahead and grab all symbols. Okay, what's going on? Come on. I just want to see the numbers. There we go. So we've got a fib of $4.31. We're looking at 69.5 to 74.5. That's $5. So we've had to tighten our range up because of that fib in there, Trip. So we don't have a lot of room in there right now. It is a one-day move. Excuse me. It's the wildest average true range. So it's still good. It's just the numbers are a little bit tight. So you want to be careful on that. I wouldn't do anything until it gets above the 72 though, which is where your confluence of your 8 is. Okay, let's keep going here. Roman's asking for NVIDIA. Roman, did you get any trades off today? We had an aggressive entry on aggressive trade set up at above 50. We'll just leave the number alone. Doesn't matter. We didn't get filled. We didn't get filled today. We had a high of 532. Actually, we might have gotten filled today. So we had an aggressive entry in on NVIDIA. Well, I keep thinking Tesla. We had an aggressive entry on there. We're looking at that 552 as the next target. Let's see, 30, 40, 52, 22. Yeah, that 552 would be the next target in there. Let's see, a couple new messages in there. Let me go see that. Roman said, yes, $3,500 profit on Amazon. Which learned how to do that, Roman? Good for you. So John said on Baidu, is it potential to have a run for 200? Absolutely, John. Stocks love $100 price points. So yes, but just remember, we've had such a huge move. If we've had such a huge move, it's possible that we get some kind of pullback in this. We just want to be careful about that. All right. So Mike is asking for AMPE. So can't really draw a fib on it because of the price. It's just too low price, Mike, and the fib lines will be way too close to each other. I don't know what they do. Pharma. Oh, okay. If they have anything to do with COVID, do you know that at all, Mike? If they happen to? If not, no worries. I'm just curious more than anything else. All right, let me really stretch that puppy out and see if I can't do it there. Okay, that's still not going to work. All right. So I'm just trying to get everything on one screen, but I can only see about 8 or 9 lines, and that's it. Then everything else is gone. So I don't tend to trade these, Mike, on these lower price ones, but I would be looking for a pullback to the moving average before I'm taking on, unless it's a news play and you know of something that's going on. They're taking over or being taken over. They've got a product like a COVID product that's going to revolutionize how they do things, something that's hot and happening now. Otherwise, I'd be looking for a pullback to the 8. So Rick said ER. ERC. Nope. Let's try that again. ER. Don't have an ER in here, Rick. And same SAME. Nope. Don't have same either. Let's see. Deborah said QS seems to be more powerful momentum. It just might break the high today. Maybe. Possibly. I mean, you may be spot on with it, Deborah. Robert's asking for Etsy. Good, strong move. COVID stock. Good, strong move. The thing about it is companies like Etsy, people aren't going to stop buying from them. They're so used to it now. Heck, my wife goes on Etsy now looking for stuff, which is unheard of. She doesn't get into this type of thing at all for her. You know, computer techie types, it's just not her thing. Pull back to the 184, Robert, as we had earlier today, and the bounce 196 is our first target. We'll have 200 above that. I don't think I've got the line drawn. So let's go and duplicate the 100-point line. So we put $100 price levels at most every stock, not everyone, but for now, not 2,100, but 200. You can just plan on doing it on all. Let's see. Should be up above a little bit there. There we go. Okay, perfect. Perfect. 200 would be the next one, Robert. Funny, Caterpillar was on, let's cancel this out. Let's cancel this out. I want to do a comparison symbol. Let's do that again. Caterpillar was one of them from Covered Call Explorer yesterday. Expensive options. So they had to move down in the balance. As long as we can get the close above the 8, Robert, that's key. But we're looking at that 182, 181 3/4 as a resistance level in there. So a little bit tight. This moves about $4 a day on average. So a little bit tight on where we're at now in resistance. But the thing is, we've gone multiple times. We've been there 2, 3, let's call it 4 or 5 times. We've been right within that range of that 182 level. So above the 182 is 188 1/4, right up in here. PayPal, Steve's asking for. Another COVID stock, right? People are getting used to paying with electronic payments online, which is part of why you're seeing the Bitcoins of the world go up, is that crypto is step back in and people are like, all right, I don't need to touch money. There are some stores that are local that have signs before, when you walk in, we do not accept cash, credit, or debit only. And by the way, one of them charges you to 3.5% more because they won't take cash. They're charging the credit card fees. So overall, strong, powerful move. I'd love to have a place to redraw a new top. We don't have it yet on PayPal. We should probably get rid of that line. We don't need those in there. So right now, Steve, we're a little bit high even on the moving average. But I'm a trader that this right here is where we would have been looking for the entry, right in here. We pushed up, we retested, and we bounced, and the entry was right about that 220, 221 level, 222, somewhere in there. It's had a nice move since. I need to pull back to at least the moving average to consider anything, although the moving average for me personally is too far away from that 220 level. I like confluence, right? 242 is the first upside, Steve, and then 278. So we've got some room for this to move. Probably should split this in half, but we've definitely got some room to move. All right, my phone is absolutely on fire today. I got one of the guys in my trading group, that in my mastermind group that I belong to, is absolutely lighting my phone up today with some trading stuff. So that was one of them, and then the other one was Square. All right, so I like Square's pattern much better, Steve, because of look where the 8 is in relation to the 226.89 level. Give me a pullback to the 226.89. Even a wick stretching me down there or closer. It doesn't have to be exactly, but closer to there. And I like it a lot, right? Let's see if we need to split that level in half. Do we have more than $18 in there? 27.37. Yeah, we do. We've got to split this in half here. Right, so which is called a Fibonacci pivot. Let's go ahead and do that. So right about where it is resistance at that 237.33 level. So give me the pullback to 227, and you're looking at 237 as your next target. If you are a breakout trader or you want to let it get above the 237, retest and bounce, then 247.5 is your next resistance, Steve. All right, hope that was helpful. Chuma said, what about VMAR? I understand that this is likely the Tesla of the sea electric boats. Can you help analyze it, please? Take a look at both the stock and the options. I don't know if we're going to have time to look at the options, but let's definitely take a look at the stock, Chuma. VMAR. Let's see what we get with the stock first. So the first thing is, it is a brand new stock, and I don't have any real good pattern to it yet. So if you look, and I'm actually going to zoom out on it so it's easier to see because it was fairly scrunched. If you look, we've got a channel in here, right? That's a pattern, right? That's a pattern, especially if we can get that continuation move back down, right? So that's the first thing that I notice. So let's go and grab my channeling pattern. Nope, wrong one. I have way too many fib tools that I have changed over to other tools. So first thing is we're going to drag this out to the left. That's as far as it'll let us go. I'm going to drag that down to the bottom there and definitely out a little bit more to the right. Let's go to an F5 and get the correct setup in there. So the way that this works out, trimmers, we have 7 lines in total here, right? 2 blue, 2 green, and 3 black, right? The black are midpoints and places to scale out. You know, if I can get a pull back to the 1463, 1635 is the place to take the first half of your exit, and 1806 is the next exit, right? Just out of kicks and giggles, VMAR, no options on them. So that was the easiest options analysis I've ever done. Chuma is on that one. Yeah, there's just no options available on it yet today. All right. Yeah, Robert had already checked it. Thank you. Robert is big on this type of stuff. He saw the stock and went, ooh, let me see. I like the pattern. He's already checked it. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate it. Let's see. I'll try to get the rest of them in here today, guys. WYNN. Win. All right. Get me, who was asking on win? Keith. Get me above the 8, Keith, for taking a bullish entry with 116 as a resistance level. The next one above there is 120.5, the next resistance and or target level, right? Brenda's asking for mRNA, which Moderna. Buy on rumors, sell on fact. The fact is the drug's out, right? Done. It's approved, right? So the stock has gone down. If we can get above that 151.5, Brenda, that's where the potential bullish entry is. Right now, we are just pinned between those 2 moving averages. If you break the 135 and it's looking bearish, you've got a target down to 122 down here, next fib level. TWTR, Mike is asking for Twitter, right? I saw some good news come out on Twitter the other day. They were upgraded by Goldman Sachs to an overweight, I believe it was. So nice move overall. Let's see, we've got this move. Yeah, that's really, so we don't have a great place to draw the fib off of. We're going to draw one, assuming that this is our V top, but it's really not a great place to draw off of yet. I would love to see more of a pullback in here. This is really not doing it for me yet, but that's where the fib would be. We went up, sideways, moved up, kind of a sideways move in here, explosion, strong pattern up, right? So look for the bounce off of the 8 with 56 as your target. So off of 53 up to 56. Mike also asked for GLD. Yeah, so Robert said, was the good news on Twitter that they were going under? Too good to be true. No. It's just, but break apart Facebook and Instagram, and I think you'll see Twitter go, oh my goodness, we need to be very, very, very careful what we say here. GOD, tough call on this one. You know, it's gold, right? It's the ETF, the trust for gold, which has been in an overall downward pattern since July, right? You had your high points there, and I still see the gold commercials. We're at all-time highs. Had you invested $10,000 in gold back in 1742, you'd be worth $62 gazillion today. You know, okay, great. If I had picked the perfect date at the lowest low ever to have bought gold and held it for 22 years, I would have all this money today. Tough call. I mean, I would be looking only at bearish trades on it right now until the moving averages get aligned there, Mike. So be careful of it. It's very much a news play. Yeah. All right, Robert. Next. So Amos is saying on Square, we should look to redraw the fibs. Let's go take a look. Yeah, we should. Once we get a pullback, Amos, you're absolutely right. I mean, we could draw them, I guess, from here, inside of here for right now. I just don't know how long they last, but that's, I mean, it's valid. We are there. All right, so let's see. Let's go get a fib. wind up with 91.96. All right, good numbers. So we're already near the extension part here. So what do we got here? 233 to 44 is 11, 12 points. We don't need a fib in there. So we're good. So a better place. I'm looking for that V top for a new one here. But absolutely. Good, Mike. I'm glad it was helpful. All right. Fantastic. Robert said, look at the equity futures today, already 51 points up from the low after the open, and the day is only half over. Yeah. So, I mean, we're definitely on the right trajectory from where we started. I mean, we were down, a couple hundred points on the Dow. If we go look at, actually, let's just do it here. I never remember the trade station symbol. It's DJIA.X or something like that. I don't even have it in here. Let's see. Oh, INDU, $INDU. Okay. So we were down to 762, 29,762. And that gave us 762, 230 points to 30. So 350 point move to the upside from where it was. If you look at Friday's close, well, you can see we're up 13 points, but we're there, right? We've already filled that gap in today. So overall, nice reversal, nice turnaround. Time for me to look at a couple of long trades today that I had set up for my covered calls. All I did this morning was go in and manage some positions. I did put one new one on. I put a trade in, just waiting to see if I got filled. But overall, definitely, amazing recovery today. It is, Robert. It is, especially when it was fear-based of the coronavirus, is what they're saying as to why things were down the way they were. It could be, the stimulus package, good or bad. I loved listening to Pelosi today saying we now have a Democratic plan that will work for business owners. I'm like, you jerk. It would have worked for business owners 3 months ago had you not been looking for $3.8 billion, and now you settled for less than $1 billion. No way, Robert. You're good. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of things. Amy dropped a few links in there for you. She dropped a link in there for Wealth with Spread. She dropped one in there for Trading You for those of you that are brand new here to take a look at. Guys, make sure you get registered for the next Power Hour. It's the last free training of the year that we've got set up, which is next week at noon. With that, stay focused on the quest to becoming a great trader. Keep crushing it. And remember, you're just one trade away. Take care, folks. Have a merry and joyous holiday, and I will see all of you at our next update. Take care. See you then. We'll leave the room open a couple of minutes so you can grab the links. Talk soon.